Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10th, Chapter 83, entitled Draupadi Meets the Queens of Krishna. Reading from text 2 to 4. Text number 2. Te evam lokanathena pariprishta susatkrita pratyuchur rishta manasas tadpadiksha hatam hasa. Feeling greatly honored, King Yudhishthir and the others, freed of all sinful reactions, by saying the feet of Lord Krishna, gladly answered his enquiries. Kuto shivam tvacharam charnambhujasavam mahan manasto mukhani rishtam kvachit pibanti ekarna putair alam prabho deham vritham deha krid asmriti chiddham. Lord Krishna's relatives said, O Master, how can misfortune arise for those who have even once freely drunk the nectar coming from your lotus feet? This intoxicating liquor pours into the drinking cups of their ears, having flowed from the minds of great devotees through their mouths. It destroys the embodied soul's forgetfulness of the Creator of their bodily existence. Text number 4. He, everybody can repeat. Tvatma, Dhama, Vidutatma, Krita, Tri, Avastam. He Tvatma Dhama, Vidutatma, Kritri, Avastam. Ananda Samplavam, Akhandam, Akunta Bodham. Kalo Parshishta Nigama Vana Ata Yoga Maya Kritim Paramhamsa Gatim Natasma. He Tvatma Dhama Vidutatma Kritya Trias Avastam. Ananda Samplavam Akhandam Akunta Bodham Kalopashishta Nigama Vana Atta Yoga Maya Kritim Paramhamsa Gatim Natasmaha. He Tvatma Dhama Vidutatma Kritya Tri Avastam. Ananda Samplavam Akhandak Akunta Bodham कालोपसृष्ट निगमवन आर्तयोग मायाकृतिं परमहंस गतिं नतास्म. Somebody can repeat. Word to word meaning. He, indeed. Tva, to you. Atma, of your personal form. Dhama, by the illumination. Viduta, dispelled. Atma, by material consciousness. Krita, created. Three, three. Avastam, the material conditions. Ananda, in ecstasy. Samplavam, within whom is the total immersion. Akhandam, unlimited. Akunta, unrestricted. Bodham, whose knowledge. Kala, by time. Upashrishta, endangered. Nigama, of the Vedas. Avane, for the protection. Atta, having assumed. Yogamaya, by your divine power of illusion. Akritim, this form. Paramhamsa, of perfect sense. Gatim, the goal. Natasma, we have bowed down. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Disciples of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The radiance of your personal form dispels the threefold effects of material consciousness, and by your grace we become immersed in total happiness. Your knowledge is indivisible and unrestricted. By your yoga moya potency, you assume this human form for protecting the Vedas, which had been threatened by time. We bow down to you, the final destination of perfect sense. Purport. Simply by the effulgent light emanating from the beautiful form of Lord Krishna, one's intelligence is purified of all material contamination, and thus the soul's various entanglement in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance are dispelled. How then, the Lord's relatives imply, can we ever suffer misfortune? We are always immersed in absolute happiness. This is their answer to his inquiry about their welfare. ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपां सागरजाताम् सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांशं नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I seek blessings of all devotees assembled here so that I can speak something for my own purification. I am feeling extremely happy to see so many of you coming to hear the message of Srimad Bhagvatam. What a great fortune we have that we have opportunity to hear daily from Amal Puran, the topmost Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is all perfect, which is all pure, and which is uh, incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali, which has come to dispel the darkness in this age of Kali and give us the light. So here we are seeing in 10th canto, chapter 83, entitled Draupadi meets Queens of Krishna. So we see how Krishna is meeting uh, different personalities. He is meeting Yudhishthir Maharaj and all his relatives and friends, and he's inquiring about their welfare. Mm. So when we meet someone, we ask, "How are you? Is everything all right? Mm. Mm. কেমন আছে? ভালো?" Mm. So like that, Krishna is inquiring, and what is the answer of his devotees? Mm. So here we see second, third, and fourth verse is today's. So fourth verse has purport. So we'll read the translation um, of second, third, and then fourth. Feeling greatly honored, King Yudhishthir and the others, freed of all sinful reactions by seeing the lotus feet of Krishna, mm, gladly answered his inquiries. So just by seeing the lotus feet of Krishna, Bhagavatam saying, they are freed from all the sinful reactions. And they are very joyful, and joyfully they are answering Krishna's inquiry. Text third, Lord Krishna's relatives said, "O Master, how can misfortune arise for those who have even once freely drunk the nectar coming from your lotus feet?" You are asking about our good fortune? Uh, where is question of any misfortune? Hmm. Anybody even once drinks the nectar coming from your lotus feet? Uh, he is in ecstasy. The nectar from your lotus feet, this intoxicant liquor pours into the drinking cups of the ears, having flowed from the minds of great devotees through their mouths. Mm. It destroys the embodied soul's forgetfulness of creator of their bodily existence. So just by hearing about Krishna, sing Krishna, once all material existence is destroyed, and one is awakened. And in today's verse, the devotees are saying, Yudhishthir Maharaj and other devotees saying, the radiance of your personal form dispels the threefold effects of material consciousness. Just by the effulgence of Krishna, all material consciousness is destroyed. And by your grace, we become immersed in total happiness. So they are saying all material effects are dispelled, material consciousness is destroyed, and one gets immersed in total happiness. This is effect of just radiance of Krishna's personal form. Your knowledge is indivisible and unrestricted. By your Yogamaya potency, you have assumed this human form for protecting the Vedas, which had been threatened by time. We bow down to you, the final destination of perfect saints. So, in purport, it is said that simply by the effulgence emanating from the lotus feet of Krishna, impulsions emanating from the body, beautiful form of Krishna, one's intelligence is purified of all material contamination. And thus, his entanglement in these three modes, mode of passion, ignorance, goodness, everything is dispelled. So relatives are saying when material existence is dispelled, all this entanglement in modes are dispelled, destroyed. Where is question of misfortune? Rather, we are always immersed in ecstasy, happiness. So when Krishna inquired, "How are you?" They said, "We are in ecstasy. We are very joyful because the ignorance is dispelled in our heart. Because this entanglements, material exist that is removed. So cause of our suffering is because of material ignorance, because of ignorance in the heart, because of impurities in the heart. Sometimes we may think that I'm suffering because of this person or that person, or we may think, oh, I'm suffering because of maybe government leaders are not acting properly, or maybe I'm suffering because of too much heat or too much cold, or maybe I'm suffering because there is recession, economic recession, or maybe I'm suffering because of so many varieties of reasons one can come up with. But all these reasons are actually superficial. So here it is said we are suffering because of ignorance in our heart, mm, because of impurities in our heart. So we see just 2 days back we celebrated Narsimha Chaturdashi, where we we see Hiranyakashipu had everything of this world, whatever we can imagine, but result was, in spite of having all the wealth, all the power, all whatever one can imagine, he had everything material, but still he was not happy. Still he was disturbed, because his mind was disturbed. His mind was disturbed because his heart was impure. He was envious of God and devotees of God. And we see Prahlad Maharaj, though there were so many difficulties, obstacles, problems in his life created by Hiranyakashipu and company, he was always in ecstasy. He did not feel any problem. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki Jai. So this is a classic example we can remember and reflect and meditate on. Just see Hiranyakashipu, how powerful he was, how affluent he was. but still he was miserable. And just see, Prahlad, apparently appearing like an innocent fire boy, hardly any power or influence, material influence, and so many obstacles, so many problems, so many attempts to kill, but he was absolutely joyful. How is that? Hmm. Because Prahlad was absorbed in remembering Krishna. Hmm. So he was always in ecstasy. And Hiranyakashipu was absorbed in his material consciousness. So he was always miserable. So from this graphic example, we can understand the causes of misery and causes of happiness, causes of misfortune and causes of fortune. And that can give us a little idea uh, about where we can put our energies in our life if we want to become fortunate and happy. We see when Hiranyakashipu was creating so many problems, Prahlad did not retaliate or create any problem to mm, Hiranyakashipu. And when things became little uh, beyond the limits, then Supreme Lord Narasimhadev personally appeared and killed Hiranyakashipu. And after Hiranyakashipu was killed, still Narasimhadev was angry. Mm. So many devatas and all they came forward to offer prayers, and still Lord was not satisfied, pacified. Then all devatas headed by Brahma pushed Prahlad that you should go and offer prayers. And Prahlad offered so many beautiful prayers, which really pacified uh, Narasimhadev. In one of the prayers, Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, you are Atmaram. You don't need any service. But any service which is offered to you is for the benefit of the person who offers service." Hmm. So we are so grateful that you are engaging us in service. So please always keep us engaged in your service. Hmm. Another very special prayer which Prahlad Maharaj offered was, we can recite this prayer. It's very nice prayer. Yadi dansasi me kaman varam svam varadarshaba कामानां हृदि असंरोहम भवतस्तु ऋणे वरम यदि दास्यसि मे कामान् वरं त्वं वरदर्शम कामानां हृदि असंमोहम भवतस्तु ऋणे वरम. Oh my dear Lord, Varadarshaba, the best of the givers of benediction, Yadi dasasi me kaman, varam stvam. If you want to give me any benediction, so please bless me, that let there be no material desire in core of my heart. Because this material desires is the actually cause of all miseries and suffering. Material desires arise out of ignorance, and they make us suffer so much. So if this material desires are dispelled, this ignorance is dispelled, then one can be ecstatic, one can be blissful. So here we see when Krishna is inquiring from Yudhishthira and all other his friends and family members, how are you? They said that just by looking at you, having darshan from you, our material existence is destroyed, our hearts are purified, and we are feeling ecstasy. We are feeling joyful. Mm. So that is the result of actually seeing Krishna, uh, worshipping Krishna, remembering Krishna. We are so fortunate. Krishna is so kind mm, that Krishna is appearing in form of Srimad Bhagvatam, so that we can hear Krishna. Krishna is appearing in form of deity, so that we can see Krishna, serve Krishna. And Krishna is also appearing in this age, especially in form of holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful, and there are so many wonderful effects of chanting Hare Krishna. Hmm. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhav Mahadavag Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadu Jeevanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling the effects of chanting Hare Krishna, Cheto Darpan Marjan. Our hearts are purified. Hmm? We are suffering because of impure heart. So just by chanting Hare Krishna, heart is completely purified. And when heart is purified, Bahamaha Davag Nirvapam. All the miseries which we are feeling in our heart is burning due to misery. Everything is extinguished. Bahamaha Davag Nirvapam. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaram, and cooling effects of moon, one can feel. All auspiciousness uh, comes in lives. All wonderful qualities develop in a devotee. Vidya Vadu Jeevanam, and all transcendent knowledge is awakened. All ignorance is dispelled by chanting Hare Krishna. Root cause of material existence is ignorance, because we think I am this body, we think everything in relation with body is mine. I am the proprietor, controller, enjoyer, and we try to lord over it, the material energy, and we just suffer. But by chanting the holy names of Lord, this ignorance is dispelled and knowledge is awakened that we are not this body, we are spiritual beings, Atma. Krishna is Supreme Lord, He is Supreme Proprietor, Controller, Enjoyer, and I am His eternal servant. Hmm? Vidya Vadu Jeevanam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam, Purnamrita Swadanam. So, the chanting can give us happiness, which is like ocean, which is also ever increasing ocean. So for happiness, we have been struggling so hard from time immemorial. For happiness, we see people are working so hard. They are getting up early morning and running and catching the local trains. Sometimes when you go in the early morning, 4 hour clock also, so much traffic is there in that Howrah line. So many people are coming with their so many things to sell in Howrah station. No, whole jam pack. No? All the those who are buying and selling. No, so people are working so hard. If you go towards this Newtown, that Wish Bangla Gate, that companies are there, 24 hours are on. People are night also working. So people are working so hard. Why they are working hard? Because they want to be happy. Um, People take so much risk because they want to be happy. So, but unfortunately, material life, no matter how much we work hard, one thing is 100% sure, that is misery. Happiness comes here, it is said Anandam Bodhivardhanam, by chanting Hare Krishna. Happiness comes by purification of heart, by engaging service of Lord. Mm. How much hopes people have that they will be happy by earning money, by developing some relationship, by achieving some things. And the Maya is so powerful. Maya convinces everybody to work hard, but at the same time, Maya is also so powerful that we don't realize uh, uh, how powerful is the holy name and how wonderful is service to Krishna and Vaishnavas, that it can give us happiness which is like ocean, ever increasing ocean. Mm. So unfortunately, mm, we are not able to deeply appreciate this fact, and therefore we continue with material hopes and material struggles. Only we can realize just by chanting Hare Krishna, one can get happiness which is like ocean of happiness which is ever increasing. Anandambudi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. Every step one can be in ecstasy. Hmm? Matter world, every step there is danger. Padam Padam Vipadam Tesham. But if you take to Krishna consciousness, chanting sincerely, then Pratipadam, there is Purnamrita Swadanam. Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayati, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And the chanting can completely bathe our consciousness, completely purify our existence, and our lives can be perfect. So Krishna is so kind. He has appeared in form of holy name. He has invested all these energies, uh, but unfortunately, we have no taste for chanting Hare Krishna. That is our misfortune. So Burijan Prabhu writes in his book Japa that unfortunately mm, we don't chant attentively, mm, and we just drag on chanting without realizing the danger of chanting Hare Krishna in offensively. If we chant attentively, there are so many benefits of chanting Hare Krishna, out of which seven are listed. But if we don't chant attentively holy names, rather if we chant offensively, and if we are least bothered to improve our chanting, then he quotes Sri Jiva Goswami, the effects of inattentive, offensive chanting. He says, first result is one becomes crooked, duplicitous in behavior. Already one is miserable, and imagine one becomes crooked, he will become more miserable. Second result of chanting Hare Krishna offensively is one becomes faithless. Uh, whatever faith we have, slowly that also uh, start losing. If we don't chant Hare Krishna mm, attentively, offenselessly, and we chant offensively mm, without any concern about improving the chanting, we just chant neglectfully, in chanting avdasinya, indifferently, then we are not going to get results. Then naturally, if we don't get results, faith is going to be weakened. So by chanting offensively, other result happens that one becomes attached to the things that destroy the faith in the Lord. Not only one become faithless, but one develops attachment to those things that destroy faith in the Lord. Hmm. One becomes attached to sense gratification, and when faith is slackened, naturally our enthusiasm in practice of devotional service is also slackened. So offensive chanting leads to slackening in the performance of devotional practices. Then to get up in the morning is difficult, to chant 16 rounds is difficult, to complete rounds is difficult, to do spiritual activities is difficult. And most dangerous effect of offensive chanting is one becomes proud of one's devotional advancement. One thinks I am very advanced. So that is so unfortunate. We see if one chants attentively, sincerely, offenselessly, then result of chanting is one becomes humble. Trunadapi suni chena. But if one chant offensively, one becomes very proud. And one start thinking, I am better than others. Just see how great I am. Mm. So, and then when one start thinking, I'm great, one becomes proud. Naturally, he then will offend devotees, offend others, and so many other offenses will follow from that pride. And then one's spiritual life is ruined by these offenses. So sometimes we need to reflect on this and become little serious. Maybe little become little fearful. Oh, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but how am I chanting Hare Krishna? Maybe I should try to improve the quality of my chanting Hare Krishna. Hmm? This chanting Hare Krishna can give me all perfection in life, can give me all happiness in life, what I am hankering for. But if I don't chant Hare Krishna nicely, then it can lead to terrible things. It can lead to all these things: crookedness, faithlessness, material attachment, mm, and especially pride in the heart, slackness. All these things will happen. So when one knows, then one can be little careful. Yes, I am chanting Hare Krishna, but let me be little more conscious. Let me chant little more attentively. Let me try to give up my indifference to chanting Hare Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says there are three reasons why we don't chant attentively. One is audasinya. Audasinya is indifference. Like sometimes we are indifferent. Who's coming? Who's going? Don't care. Don't bother. Like that sometimes we may be indifferent to Krishna, indifferent to holy names. Whether what I am pronouncing, what I am hearing, what is going on in my mind, indifferent. Least bothered. Hare Krishna, Krishna. And so uh, so one has to give up that indifference, and one should know this chanting is the most important thing. So we have to hear about chanting Hare Krishna time and again. Actually we hear, we are inspired, again we forget, again we need to hear. So repeatedly we have to remind about uh, the process of Krishna consciousness. Repeatedly we have to hear about the holy names, because that's the prime process in this of Kali. So when we hear about glories of holy names, then our indifference will go, and we'll say, "Oh, this chanting is so wonderful. But it's our greatest benediction. Let me take the advantage of it nicely." So Audasinya. Then Jadya. Nature of this material world is that we are influenced by ignorance, and we are influenced by ignorance, we become so lazy, tired, we feel sleepy. Hmm? But we have to fight against this Jadya. We have to become active. Even if you don't feel enthusiastic, we have to be enthusiastic. Hmm? We have to act enthusiastically. If we are feeling sleepy, we have to somehow fight against sleep. Not that I am feeling sleepy, let me go and sleep. No, we have to fight against this laziness. In this material world, conditioned soul is very enthusiastic for materialistic activities, but is lazy for spiritual activities. We have to become enthusiastic for spiritual activities, and maybe we have to be lazy for sense gratification, materialistic activities. So we have to fight against the Jadya. And another problem is Vikshepya. Vikshepya means distraction. We have to arrange our life in such a way that there is less distraction in our chanting Hare Krishna. Not that we mold our life in such a way that uh, uh, we are chanting in a distractive environment. Sometimes we see people organize their life that they are chanting while traveling in trains and buses and or whatever. No, now when we are traveling train, so many things come we see. Very difficult. We'll read billboards. There's so many people fighting, talking. When we are sitting, people speak so many things we hear, and naturally we hear, mind goes there. So much distraction. Or sometimes people read and chant, uh, different things. Watch TV and chant. All these things distraction. One should know I'm chanting Hare Krishna. This chanting Hare Krishna is exclusive activity. When we are traveling, can we chant? When we are traveling, we can chant. But when we are chanting, how we should avoid traveling. Hmm? When we are chanting, we should just chant. But we are traveling, we can chant. When we are cooking, we are chanting, fine. But when we are chanting, we should not cook. When we are chanting, we should only chant only. So, because chanting is exclusive activity. But all other activities, whatever we do, we can add chanting to that. But when we are chanting, we cannot add any other thing. While chanting, we cannot hear lecture. Chalo, I can chant also with lips, and I can hear lecture. So hearing and chanting both are completed. No, uh, so uh, so we can uh, do parallel processing. We have to do single. When we do chanting, we only chant. And one should know, if you can put efforts in chanting, there are great results. One should not think, "Arey, putting effort in chanting is useless." No, there are amazing results of chanting Hare Krishna. So we have to keep on reminding ourselves. We have to keep on telling our mind, "You rascal mind, hear holy name. There's more benefit in here than wandering here and there." So we have to constantly remind ourselves, and We already got greatest good fortune, but we have to take advantage of it. We already got great blessing in form of holy name through medium of Guru Parampara, but we should take advantage of it by being attentive. Burjan Prabhu says that there are two greatest problems we have to avoid if you want to improve chanting Hare Krishna. One is Vaishnava Aparadh, first offense to holy name. And especially Vaishnava Aparadh, when we hear about the negativities of other devotees, when we speak negativities or criticize other devotees. So if you want to improve our spiritual life, we have to improve our holy chanting, and for improving chanting, we have to be very conscious not to find faults with others, not to criticize others, not to hear criticism, mm, because that really affects terribly our spiritual practices. And second is 11th offense, to be inattentive while chanting Hare Krishna. So we have to try to put efforts to hear holy names. When we don't put efforts and just chant Hare Krishna mm, uh, in an indifferent way, mindless way, and maybe mind is wandering all over world and lips are just moving Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that is offensive chanting, Nama Prad. But when you start putting efforts, effort to pronounce properly, effort to hear attentively, that is the beginning of actually Namabhas chanting. And in Namabhas, all wonderful things develop. In Namabhas, our hearts start getting purified. We are freed from all sinful reactions. One gets liberated from material bondage. So effects of Namabhas are amazing. So when we start putting efforts to chant attentively, or pronounce attentively, hear attentively, then that is the beginning of Namabhas. So Burijan Prabhu in his book Jamba tells 9 keys for chanting Hare Krishna. So first key he says is to chant Hare Krishna. Hmm. Whether we feel like chanting or not chanting, this is the most important process uh, of purification as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, when I went to America, I did not tell them many things, but I just depended on the power of the holy name. When I went there, I just told them to chant, and we see due to just chanting the Harinam and chanting Sankirtan, street Sankirtan, whole day, just singing and chanting. So Prabhupada said, I just depend on holy name. Mm, uh, the people were so degraded. Uh, if you think logically, it may appear impossible. But Prabhupada did not tell them, don't do this, don't do this. He said, I just told them to chant. And uh, I depended on the potency of Allah, and then they got purified. So whether we feel like chanting or we don't feel like chanting or whatever, if we don't feel like chanting, that means we need to chant more. Mm, mm. Uh, we are not having taste for chanting. That means really we desperately need to chant more. As Rupa Goswami tells, when person is having jaundice, he doesn't have taste. And even if you give him sugarcane juice, it appears bitter. So the most sweetest of the whole, sweetest thing is this chanting of the holy names. And if we don't have taste in chanting, that means we are infected by a jaundice. Mm. So if we want to be cured, then we have to hear the holy names more and more. We have to chant and hear more and more. So the first key is to chant Hare Krishna. Whether we feel like chanting or not, we just chant. And if you don't feel like chanting, then all the more we have to chant more, because that means our situation is very pathetic. So we are terribly sick, so we need greater dose of medicine. And then second key, he says that hear one mantra, listen to one mantra. The chanting one mantra is so powerful. Even if one chants one pure holy names, one can go back home back to Godhead. That is the potency of chanting one pure mantra. Rather, purpose of all chanting is so that we can once chant one pure mantra. And if you can chant one pure mantra, we can perfect our lives. So even if we are able to hear one mantra nicely, that's a great success. So we don't have to worry how many mantras I am not hearing attentively. Rather, whenever we are beginning to chant, we should think, let me chant this mantra nicely and hear attentively. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said while chanting Hare, we have to engage mind in hearing. And if you tell mind that hear all 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, for mind it's too difficult task to hear all 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. Then intelligence come in the picture. Then intelligence makes plans how to hear all 16 rounds attentively. And when intelligence starts making plan, we keep on hearing the plans only, and chanting remains in background. So when mind becomes so much affected by the passion, mind and intelligence, if they get into the plan making business, then hearing is lost. So we cannot tell mind very complicated things. Guru Janpu says that just tell mind, listen to one mantra. That's all. The mantra which we are chanting now. Mm. And third key, he says that if you want to chant, be determined. Make a sankalpa. Before chanting mantra, make a sankalpa. I am going to hear this mantra. If you make a sankalpa, now let us try. Let us make sankalpa. Now I am going to chant them. Now I am going to hear the mantra which I am going to chant now. Everybody, mentally we can make this sankalpa. I am going to hear the mantra that I am going to chant now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. How many of you are able to hear the mantra? Okay, again make sankalpa. Now I am going to hear the mantra that I am going to chant now. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. How many of you are able to hear the mantra? So again make sankalpa. Now I am going to hear the mantra that I am going to chant now. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. How many of you are able to hear? Hmm? So it is possible to hear, isn't it? It is not an impossible task. Is it an impossible task to hear mantra? It is possible, but if we are determined, if we make a sankalpa that I am going to hear, if you are not determined, it is not possible to hear. If you are determined, it is possible to do things. If you are not determined, then not possible. In this world, we see if you want to come for Mangalarti, if you are determined, it's possible to come. If you are not determined, it's not possible to come. If you are determined to be reach particular place on time, it's possible. But if you are not possible. Similarly, this hearing also. If I'm, if you are determined to hear the mantra, it's possible. But if you are not determined, then mind will go on right. So, so he says that before every mantra we chant, we have to have mental sankalpa. I am going to hear this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I am going to hear this mantra attentively now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I am going to hear this mantra attentively. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I am going to hear this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I am going to hear this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hear this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hear this mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Before every mantra, mentally we have to make some sankalpa. I am going to hear. Then it is possible to hear. And we don't have to worry if we are not able to hear any mantra. Okay, forget. Some mantras we didn't hear, no problem. Now I am going to hear. Even if we don't hear 15 rounds and 107 mantras, and if you are able to hear one mantra, that also great success. If we are able to hear mantra, that is the biggest achievement of the day, of the week, of the month, of the lifetime. This is the power of one mantra. So the mantra we are going to chant, if we just put some efforts, that can lead to all auspiciousness. No, uh, so all other efforts, all other plans are not very valuable plans. When you sit down for chant, so many plans come, but all those plans are not actually, they are Maya's trap to distract us. Most Krishna conscious plans also which come in chanting, we should know there's Maya is trying to distract us. So while chanting, only determination should be the here. Uh, Whatever we do all throughout life in material existence is insignificant. Even if we build millions of palaces, even if we achieve so many great things in life, what is this life? Is one flash in eternity. What is our life? 100 years of life compared to Brahma's 311 trillion 40 billion years. No, what is our life? Is very insignificant. In Brahma's one day, our life, whatever achievement we do, how significant they are. Huh? Are they significant? In one day of Brahma, in the history of this creation, one day of Brahma, we may achieve so many things, but they are insignificant compared to Brahma's one day creation. No? And Brahma's entire life, 311 trillion 40 billion years, is insignificant. It's just like a one flash, one eye blink of Mahavishnu. So entire material existence is insignificant. So all material efforts are insignificant. They are not worth giving so much attention and putting efforts. But chanting one mantra is significant because that one mantra can take us out of this material existence and place it in us at the lotus feet of Krishna in the spiritual realm. The result of one mantra hearing is eternal, and they are most significant. And all material efforts and all material achievements are insignificant. Even one becomes Prime Minister of India, after 100 years he will be forgotten. After 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1 lakh years, can you imagine who will remember? No? Or after day of Brahma, one day, what forget one day, one just Kali Yuga finishes. So even if we achieve whatever, it's very insignificant. But if we are able to chant, no, that is very significant. So whatever thoughts and plans are coming, we should know they are actually just Maya's distraction. And only thought should be how I can hear attentively, and one should just chant and hear. Hmm. So in that way, we have to, when mind wanders here, there, bring back mind to hearing, and we don't have to worry about anything else. We have to be detached from materialistic things. We don't have to worry about the past. We don't have to worry about the future. When we are chanting Hare Krishna, just hear Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Then all auspiciousness will come in life. Then all impurities in hearts will be destroyed. Then all happiness, uh, one will have all the good fortune in one's life. Here we see when Krishna is inquiring from Yudhishthir Maharaj and all his friends and relatives about their well-being, how are you? Hmm. So they are saying, my dear Lord, simply by the effulgent light emanating from your beautiful form, all our intelligence purified, our existence purified. Hmm. So, and we are feeling mm, absolute ecstasy. We are always immersed in absolute happiness just because of being purified by having darshan of your lotus feet. So similarly, we can also have that experience. If we take shelter of holy name, we can also get purified, and we can also feel absolute ecstasy in life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि बोल।